I just watched Captain America 4 and I'm driving home, and I have to say it was painfully mid. It honestly felt like a bad episode of What If, which is super disappointing, but at the same time kind of expected from hearing everything surrounding the movie, how it had to go through a bunch of reshoots. Just not a lot of good stuff to hear about it. I thought it was bold that this movie decided to be a sequel to 2 mid-Marvel movies and a mid-Marvel TV show. And the end result was that this movie too was also very mid. One of my biggest complaints about this film is that it doesn't feel like a Captain America movie. It doesn't feel like the main character is Captain America a lot of the time, Sam Wilson. I don't mind Sam Wilson as a character, but he's not given much to do in terms of story in this film besides just like kicking the bad guy's butt. And that's all fine and dandy, but I certainly expect a little bit more emotionally from a main character. And really we get more emotional beats from Harrison Ford's character Ross, Thaddeus Ross. And I mean, even his character felt like he had more to do, but his whole goal of the movie was just kind of hilarious, honestly, where he was so obsessed with protecting this treaty. We got to get this treaty done, protect this treaty at all costs, and we don't even know what the treaty really is. I mean, it relates to the celestial that's in the Indian Ocean, and it relates to what the celestial contains, but like we don't really know why we care that much. It's just implied that we should care about this new material that was discovered. It's going to be the new age of weaponry and stuff, and it's not very interesting in my opinion. But another issue is that I have with the character of Captain America is that he's not really, he's a mold of other characters with his suit, is what I mean. He has his Falcon wings still, which I don't mind because he was Falcon, but now they're made of vibranium, so he's got that. He's got a helmet for when he flies in the air, and that's made of nanotechnology, like Iron Man stuff. And when you put all those things together, you got Falcon, you got Captain America, you got Black Panther technology, you got Iron Man technology. It's kind of hard to make Captain America himself a unique character. He's kind of just a mesh of a bunch of other cool superheroes, and that's really frustrating for me. A big plot point or like, unique trait of Captain America in this one is that he doesn't have the super soldier serum. He's just a normal guy. He's trying to take on extreme threats, and that makes him vulnerable to dying. But when he has all these protections, and I get it, you got to make him on the same level as like some of these other superheroes, but I thought it was just incorporated poorly. It didn't feel like Captain America. It felt like he was just borrowing stuff from other characters, and I didn't like that. I didn't think the suit was impressive. The fight scenes certainly weren't impressive. It's hard to enjoy a Falcon fight scene, I'll be honest, because the wings I don't think that they know how to make cool scenes with those wings and with Falcon in general fighting people. I mean, the fight scenes in this movie are just dry and like you don't feel the punches. Even the last fight scene is there was some good moments where you could feel some of the pain being dealt out, but it wasn't, you know, it wasn't anything special. And the opening fight scene was just kind of hilarious, just how it felt ripped out of the Falcon and Winter Soldier TV show. Just felt like a copy and paste of one of those fight scenes. But I will say there are a few villains, quote unquote villains in this movie, and the main one is just hilariously goofy. Goofy even for a superhero movie, like just completely over the top goofy. All of his scenes, all of his lines are just hilariously funny. It's just goofy. I mean, it's just unreasonably goofy. So I guess I like that, you know. But ironically, Giancarlo Esposito is in this film, and he's playing Moff Gideon, pretty much. So yeah, he was just here for like 15 minutes just to say hi. There's one scene that I genuinely like. It's toward the end of the film, and it's a cameo scene, and it's the best scene in the movie in my opinion. And Sam Wilson's talking with this character, having a heart-to-heart, and the whole conversation felt like what this movie should have been about, but it wasn't. And it felt like the movie was trying to tell you this is what the film's been about the whole time, and it hasn't been that conversation that was actually like cool and emotional. And it just made me think, like, dang, why would they show us this scene with this character when I would much rather see a movie about them together than what I just watched. I mean, just being honest, like, from the get-go, this film is making it clear that this is a sequel to The Incredible Hulk, showing you scenes ripped from The Incredible Hulk, which is just bizarre. And I'll be honest, I haven't seen The Incredible Hulk, so yeah, I guess that's my loss. But the fact that they would make a sequel to The Incredible Hulk 17 years later is just mind-boggling, especially since the reception of The Incredible Hulk. I don't think people were praying and hoping that Marvel would make a sequel to that film, but they did, and here it is. I honestly didn't think Harrison Ford did a bad job. I thought he was really doing his best and having a good time, which was kind of weird. I mean, the script is like horrendous at times, truly, like just completely like lines ripped from a stereotypical superhero story or something. And Harrison Ford would really try his best to deliver these emotional story beats in a way that was convincing, and I respect him for that. He did his best for sure with what he was given. And Anthony Mackie too. I mean, I really feel bad for Anthony Mackie because this should have been his movie, and it didn't feel like his movie at all. I mean, toward the end, the movie's trying to say this is a Captain America movie, but no. I never got the vibe that this was a Captain America movie. There are some Winter Soldier vibes that the movie's trying to leech off of that doesn't work at all. Like There's a mystery trying to be solved. Who is the main villain pulling all the strings? Why are we getting attacked from the inside? Do we have traitors amongst us? It lasts like 5 minutes. It's not really good. The story's not really good. There was a person next to me snoring really loudly, and that certainly didn't help with the overall movie-going experience. But yeah, I honestly don't blame him. It was 2 hours, but it was boring at times. Overall, this movie felt kind of like a filler episode in the overall grand scheme of the Marvel storytelling lore. Even though, like, toward the end, I guess, spoiler, they're like, let's rebuild the Avengers. Well, like, okay, that's cool. Rebuild the Avengers. Whatever that means. I mean, nothing really changes after watching this movie. There's not really much going on. This movie really felt like an exposition. It felt like the whole time the movie was telling you everything you needed to know for the next, like, 5 movies, which sucks. They're telling you, there's this new material. Pay attention for this in the next 5 movies. They're gonna rebuild the Avengers. Pay attention to this. The post-credit scene is hilarious. It is truly hilarious. And I love that they decided, I mean, my best guess was that this movie was already done filming, and they were like, you know what, let's film this one scene. Let's film this one scene to set up the next Avengers. And wow, it was just hilarious. The main villain's lines is just hilarious. Them trying to set up the next Avengers movie is hilarious. Yeah, I just thought that whole scene, it just made me giggle because of how dumb it was. Here's a spoiler warning for the post-credit scene. I just have to talk about it because it's too funny. The main villain, the funniest line in the entire movie comes at the end, and the main villain says, I've seen the probabilities in trying to warn Sam Wilson about the next Avengers level threat, about other worlds attacking theirs. And it's just complete, that line, I've seen the probabilities, is just hilarious. And yeah, I mean, I'm so glad they put that scene in the movie. Yeah, I guess that's Captain America 4. The title is really lame. I think the story was lacking. The characters were lacking. I wish Anthony Mackie had more character arcs to, like, explore for his character, so I could actually enjoy him as Captain America. But it's just hard when Marvel's just trying to shove all this exposition down your throat to set you up for the next 10 years of Marvel movies. And I think if you're going to do that, you have to at least make a good movie first. And yeah, I would say this isn't the best start for Marvel in 2025, but who knows, maybe the next 2 ones will be pretty good. And yeah, pretty bad idea to watch this movie alone on Valentine's Day. But yep, that's Captain America.